Posit is a new website where you can make calls on anything you think will happen, like Arsenal signing a midfielder in January. It has a credibility system that gives those who are right some cred, and if you're wrong, you lose it. There's no money involved, so the only thing at stake is your reputation. Click the link in the description below to find out more. Welcome to the Loaded Cannon, and before I start today, I think it's probably only fitting to take a moment out to talk about the news, obviously, of Queen Elizabeth dying. Now, look, I'm not a huge fan of any monarchy. I don't care where they are in the world. But I remember when Arsene Wenger retired from Arsenal, I said at that time, there's a time for critique and there's a time for tribute. And if I can afford Arsene Wenger that respect when he retired, I can certainly afford the Queen that respect upon her death. So I don't think now's the time to get into whether you're for or against monarchies and that sort of thing. Ultimately, today, someone's mother has died, someone's grandmother has died. It's it's just a time to give tribute. So rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth. And I thought FC Zurich did a lovely job at half time of responding to the news that quickly and organising that image to be displayed at the stadium and also for the players to line up. So yeah, that's it. That's my little piece on that. And now I'll speak about the game. Arsenal get off their Europa League start to a win, which is always very, very important. You know, in a group in a group where you're only going to play 6 games, if you get off to a bad start, it really puts pressure on the team. So I was very glad with all of the changes that we made today that we managed to get the win. But for the second game running, a lot of good football, a lot of touches inside the box, but just not a ruthless, clinical edge. And that is something I found a little bit frustrating today. I almost kind of feel like it happened very differently. You know, against United in the last game, there was no lack of trying. But in this game, I felt like we always just seemed a bit too comfortable to me once we got the lead. So when we were 1-0 up, it kind of seemed like we had another gear to go into. When we were 2-1 up, again, it felt like we had another gear to go into. And I just want to see Arsenal be a little bit more, well, actually, I say a little bit, a lot more ruthless. You have to convert all of those touches in the opposition box into something more meaningful. But look, let's talk about a few of the players and what we saw on the pitch today. You know, when Eddie Nketiah did that brilliant work for the first goal and got the assist, I actually made a mental note to myself then to make sure I speak about Eddie Nketiah. And I didn't know what was to come from him for the rest of the game. Today was effectively the Eddie Nketiah show, right? But, you know, he had a say in all of the goals, an assist for the first, gave away the penalty for the second, and a goal for the third. And we'll talk about all of them. But the reason I decided to make a mental note of speaking about Nketiah even after his assist was that, do you know what? I was going to say, don't judge him based on his performances this season so far, based on goals, because you know he's come in off the bench on many occasions where he hasn't had many opportunities to score goals, but he's made a massive, massive difference, in my opinion, as a substitute in the minutes that have been made available to him, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. And I think to only judge him looking at stats and looking at how many goals has he scored does him a disservice. He's come on and done his job as a substitute really, really well this season, and he's made a difference. He's caused carnage, he's stretched teams, he's had the impact that a manager subbing a player on wants that player to have, and I think he deserves credit for that. But I'm very, very happy that all of that I've just said was what I was going to say if he didn't score the goal. Now, in addition to that, I can add on the fact that he actually did score the goal. And even for the goal, Marquinhos did brilliantly, as did Eddie Nketiah for both goals. But it was a great cross from Marquinhos. Equally for the first goal, it was a brilliant run from him. But I'll talk about that. I'll talk about Marquinhos after. For Eddie Nketiah's goal, what really made me happy was that when that ball came across, he kept it really simple. There wasn't this sort of like youthful desperation to score that sometimes I feel like for young strikers that are desperate to make their mark in a team, they're so desperate to prove themselves that they kind of try too hard a little bit and force it. He didn't do too much and try and get it back across goal and make it overly difficult for himself. He just kept it simple, just got that ball on target. And I really like that. And he got his reward from that. If he tried to do too much and it wasn't on target, we'd all be saying, come on, you've got to at least put that on target, at least make the keeper work. And that's exactly what he did, and he got his reward. And why I feel like that's important, to me, it just shows a level of comfort. He's not forcing it. He seems like it seems like to me he feels like he's got the manager's backing, and the manager's not judging him on, oh, you didn't score a goal, so I'm not happy with you. And it frees the player up to just kind of play the percentage chance of things, and that's what Nketiah did. I was very happy with the performance. And actually, I'm not going to blame him for that penalty that he gave away as well, because I think the Zurich player there has done really, really well. And Eddie Nketiah has done what I think anyone would do in that situation, and try and get some contact to clear the ball. As he's pulled his leg back, the Zurich player has been very, very smart, got ahead of him, and then the contact is obviously inevitable. So, do you know what? I'm not going to criticise him on that, and I think he more than made up for it with his contributions for the other goals. Now, Marquinhos as well, just like Eddie Nketiah, a goal and an assist today. Look, the goal that he scored, fantastic. He had a chance slightly before that I felt like he could have done better at and almost snatched at it. But my God, he learned from that, because the goal that he scored, the way he took that was so comfortable. Really, really nice finish. And what I loved about that more than anything, it was brilliant work from Fabio Vieira to kind of receive the ball and beat his marker with his back to goal, and then a brilliant pass out to Nketiah. Perfect weight, perfect direction. But all of that work and all of Nketiah's good work would have been in vain if Marquinhos did not bust a gut. When that ball got cleared, he was in the D defending for Arsenal, and he's bust a gut, like what, 80 yards he's run. He's actually sprinted past an FC Zurich player. Now, if that was an Arsenal defender and that was an opposition striker, I'd be livid, talking about how he didn't put in the effort, he didn't do the hard yards. Marquinhos has made that defender look awful, and he put in the hard yards. He was desperate to get there, and he got his reward. And after that 80-yard run, to finish with that level of composure and to have the technique and everything, I think, makes the goal even nicer. And he was clearly overjoyed at scoring that goal. Really, really pleased for him. And you know what? I think Vieira in his 15-minute cameo against United, and also today, and Marquinhos in his debut today, I think what they've shown us, right, is that actually maybe they're not that far away from being able to have an impact in the first team. And for all of our concerns about Arsenal not adding in the transfer window in terms of a wide forward, I think both of these players can kind of do the job there. Clearly, we still need a central midfielder. And talking about the central midfield position that we didn't add to in the January transfer window, against United, one thing that became abundantly clear to me more than ever was that Lokonga, his positional sense is not that of a containing midfielder. I don't know what job he's been asked to go and do when he goes out on the pitch, but against United, if that was a manager's instruction, I feel like he got it wrong. Today, against lesser opposition, I feel like he can get away with it, but he's very quick to get on the wrong side of opposition players, and that leaves you very, very exposed. Against Zurich, yes, you can get away with it. You won't feel like you're being caught out. But against United, we really, really suffered. So that's something I've got my eye on, and we need to be very careful of that when we don't have our first choice 11 available. When he comes in the team, I feel like I personally would feel more secure with El Neni, who's less adventurous but provides you more protection against sort of the bigger teams, and especially away from home. Now, one other thing that I'd say today is yet another Arteta triple substitution. And, this time it didn't cost us because, listen, it is lesser opposition. But it was, I'm just looking at the team sheet, Zinchenko, Ødegaard and Saka coming on all in one go. And then to follow that up, Gabriel Jesus. Now, put it in the comments below, please. Why do you think Mikel Arteta did that? Because if any one of those four got injured, with the games coming up thick and fast for us right now, and a big game against Everton, we need to bounce back from a defeat in our last Premier League game, I would have been livid. I didn't think we needed to. Maybe one or two, max, I never felt the game was really under threat for us. And to bring on four really key players, I thought was very, very risky. And personally, I didn't see the point in doing that. Let me know why you think he did that. Was it just to get these players back into that winning frame of mind or something? I didn't personally agree with that myself. Thankfully, no injury, and we got away with it. And now a massive game at Everton, against Everton, that we have to win in order to bounce back in the Premier League. But look, very important that we got off to a good start. The games are coming thick and fast with Europa League. I want to make sure the back-end games of this group, we can afford to properly rest players. The players I've mentioned there, Zinchenko, Ødegaard, Saka, Jesus, they're the sort of player that our fifth and sixth game in the group stage of our Europa League group. I don't even want them to travel. I don't want them to be part of the squad. So it's very important we go off to a winning start. Until next time, I will see you next time. And also check out Posit in the description. Very cool concept. And go on there and let me know whether you think Arsenal are going to win the Europa League.